Good morning. It is VR time. Your Vero Raccoon. I got it right on the first try. Look, I got a shiny eye. I'm related to Cable. It goes with the background, I think. Yeah. Woo. That's why I only use certain backgrounds most of the time, but if I change it up for you, I give you a little nature since I don't go out in it. Oh, excuse me. That was a burp. You know, a fart from the mouth. So, how's everybody doing? It is Tuesday, 9:35 a.m. here in Buffalo, New York, in the United States, Eastern Standard Time. My app says it's 49% chance of rain, and it's been raining on and off all morning. Ugh, what a stupid app. I think I'm gonna disable it. It doesn't know anything, but it's got this happy little smile, which I'm trying to smile. My son, ugh. Last night, my husband was so kind and treated us to Cold Stone Creamery. If you don't know what that is, it's this awesome ice cream place where you go in and they have all these awesome varieties of ice cream, sorbet, and gelato. And you pick your flavor, which my favorite is cotton candy. I love the cotton candy. And then they have a whole bunch of different toppings and stuff you can get on them. But why anybody would want gummy bears on their ice cream? If you like gummy bears, let me know. But why you'd want them frozen? Like, put on your ice cream, they're gonna freeze, right? So it's like, I'm a frozen gummy bear, frozen gummy bear. I'm a yummy, yummy, yummy frozen gummy bear. I don't know why you'd want to eat a frozen gummy bear. And I only like certain gummy bears. I don't like them all. I like to bite their little legs off. Then they're gimpy gummy bears. And remember, folks, we decided the other day that gimpy is not a bad word. Um, so he takes my son with him. We like to get my son out of the house. And he gets my son there. And my son was in a good mood. And first they had to stop and get dog food, okay, because Mickey was all out of dog food. And they stopped at Petco. Now, Cameron goes down the aisle with Paul, and we like to keep Cameron um, in eye range. You know, you got to see him. So what does Cameron do? He goes walking around the corner. That's against the rules with this child because he wanders off. And you don't know where he's going to go. Who knows? He may wander out the door. So Paul's going, Cameron, I can't see you. Cameron, I can't see you. So Paul goes looking for him and he goes, don't call my name. Oh, what the hell? He's never done that before. Stop looking for me. Oh my God. What the hell? So that made Paul mad. And he's like, you answer me or you're not going to be able to come to this store with me again. Oh, everything. He argues about everything. And when they got to the cash register, we're going through this thing with him too where he wants to do this whole investigative thing with people behind the counter. He's like, I'm going to talk to the cashier now. And Paul said, no, we're going to pay for this and we're going to leave. So he's like, hello, my name's Cameron. Who are you? And And I guess the woman just told him her name. And he's like, "Where do you live?" And she's like, And Paul goes, "Cameron, I told you, you don't ask personal questions." And he said to the woman behind the counter, "Don't answer." And I mean, she wasn't going to anyway, but the point is, and then Cameron's like, "Do you like to work with power tools?" It's not funny, but it is. Oh my lord. So then they get to Cold Stone Creamery, and um Cameron did the same thing with the cashier, tried to interview her and all this stuff, and kept trying to change his mind about the ice cream. Stuff he's never done. And they got home, and Cameron got really mouthy and just a pain. Uh, and then this morning, like, I was getting dressed, and he opened the door part way, and I said, "Look, I'm the only semi-lady in the house." I said, "I deserve privacy." And he's like, "I did give you privacy." And I'm like, "No, you did not. It takes me a little longer to get dressed than it takes you." And then arguments over the teeth. I did brush my teeth. So we had to go through the whole Steve Harvey thing. If you want nice Steve Harvey teeth, you have to brush your teeth. And he's like, "I want them to rot out of my head." I said, "Nobody's going to want to talk to you." "Well, Miss Ashley will still like me." I said, "No, she's not going to like you anymore if you don't brush your teeth." And then he lied to me again about washing his face. I thought he washed his face. And I didn't get a chance to go in the bathroom before he left for school. His washcloth was still dry. Mm. We got a new back screen door yesterday, and Cameron hadn't seen it yet. And Paul went and let Mickey out to do his daily duties. And he couldn't find Cameron. Cameron went outside and was playing with the new door. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. New door, yay! Oh, oh, I pity the fool that buys the house next door. Hey, look, the neighbor boy is outside in his underwear, opening and closing the door. Oh. Speaking of which, we do have a pending person looking at that house. They should really meet the neighbors first before they move in. $123,000 that house is going for. It's not even worth it's not even worth 75,000. What the hell? I thought I blew up the Apple TV last night. All I wanted to do was watch some TV and decompress last night before bed after Cameron went to bed. And we have this remote that does you press this button that says watch Apple TV. So it kicks on the Apple TV, it kicks on that speaker bar, and it kicks on the TV. So I press the button, and it kicks on the TV, it kicks on the speaker bar, and then I kicked on the Apple TV, and it went to the movies, excuse me, the iTunes movies section, because that's the last thing I had been watching. And I was like, well, I could watch a movie, but Cameron was still rustling about. And I really wanted to watch Deadpool 2 for the millionth time, but I said, nah, I can't watch that in case someone gets up, and I'd have to keep pausing it. So I decided to go to the apps to watch, like HBO or Netflix or something. And all of a sudden it went poof! And the screen turned black. And I looked at Paul and I went, "What the fuck was that?" And he goes, "I think it just did an update." And I went, "It's never done an update like that before." And the screen stayed black for 5 minutes. And I went, I think I broke it. So I'm sitting here pressing buttons, thinking I can fix it. I'm like, click, click, click. And he's like, "Stop." I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." Click, 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 click. And he's like, "Stop it." And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything." Click, click. Yeah, that's gonna fix it. So then a white screen comes on with the status bar, moving across. And I said, "Oh, see there, it's doing an update." And then the screen goes black again. So I'm like looking at him, and he's like, "Don't press any buttons." I'm like, "Okay." Click. The screen stays black for another 5 minutes. And then the white screen comes on again, and it does, like it's downloading or doing an update. And then, excuse me, the screen comes on that says no source. So I look at him, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Don't click anything." I'm like, "Okay." Click. And the screen goes black. It does this. We do this, okay? We do this little dance about 3 more times, and he's got the patience of a saint. Finally, he takes the remote away from me. And he gets up, he goes, "I think it's FUBAR." And I went, no, I didn't do anything." I mean, I'm just pushing the remote button. How can you break the TV or the Apple TV with a remote that doesn't even really go to it? It's a universal. It's not even the Apple remote. So he decides to try to do a reboot. And, excuse me, he unplugs everything. Turn it on and turn it off again. And then he goes through all these doodads and things, and he fixed it because my man is awesome. He's a computer geek and technology and all that stuff. So he fixes it, and he looks at me and he goes, "Do you want to watch TV?" And I went, "No." "Don't even hand me the remote. Put it on the charger. I might break something." He goes, "After I fixed it, you don't want to watch it?" I said, "No. Might as well give it a rest." "I'll break it tomorrow." So, oh, I went and I chatted with Lady Win instead. Nah. And I had much more fun. And I didn't break my phone. Oh, my lord. You can't help but press the buttons when people say don't press the buttons. I mean, how many of you do that? Don't press the button. Okay, press the button. So I would not be one that you would put next to the red button in the White House and say, don't press the button. Okay. Boink! Boom! I just wanted to see what it did. Kablooey! What just happened? Let's try that again. This time I promise I won't press the button. Oh, it's calling to me. Boom! That's why they have those safety guards with codes and, all these people with keys and everything, because I would be the one that would, not to be an asshole like the horse in the hospital, but just because it's there and you want to just press that button, you just want to go dee, 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 dee. What does this do? Dee, 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 dee. Like when I got in my daughter's car for the first time, she had all these buttons, and I'm like, what is this? Beep, 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 beep. And she's like, don't do that. Her car has the wussiest horn I have ever heard in my life. I'm trying to think of what kind of car she has. It's a Hyundai something or other. It's a newer car. It's a 2018. Something she didn't need. Oh, speaking of which, for those of you, I haven't updated you on my daughter. Do you remember how I was telling you that she was working at a sex shop? You remember that? That was many moons ago. It was it was like, what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? And I was really upset over it. Well, um, she's no longer working there. And this is what happened. So this is probably going to be a long vlog, which is okay because I think you guys are getting used to those. The hell with you, Alexa. I'm not setting a timer anymore when these are important. This is important. So she came over one day. No, I'm sorry. Let me start again. Okay, press that rewind button. She was texting me and she asked if she could come over on a Sunday for a visit. And I said, are you coming with or without Chris, her boyfriend, my future ex-son-in-law? And she said, I'm coming alone. Unfortunately, Chris has to work. And I said, good, it would be better if you came alone. And she's like, why? I said, I'd rather not see him right now. He's still on my shit list because of, the whole, what man suggests to his girlfriend, oh, by the way, my uncle has a sex shop and, you could get a job there. At alone at nighttime and have to close by yourself on Route 5 in Buffalo. If you don't know where that is, it's a terrible, terrible area. And closing a sex shop by yourself, whether it's reputable or not. Oh, sleaze bag. Oh, what a nutsack. I'm telling you. And a useless nutsack. It's like one of those nutsacks that doesn't even hold testicles anymore. It's like the testicles were removed, so it's just this hanging flap of skin, that does nothing. It's like you should just get that tucked. So she's like, oh, in the text, she's like, oh, okay. I said, I'm just telling you how I feel. Or actually, I was texting her how I feel. And so things went quiet for a while, and then 2 hours later, she calls me on the phone. I'm like, hello? And she goes, hi. I go, hello? What's up? And all of a sudden, she bursts out crying. And I go, what happened? And my first thing is, every time she starts to cry, I get really excited because I think that her and Chris are breaking up. I know, don't judge me. I want them broken up. I don't care. Her heart will mend. She's young, okay? So that's not what was going on. She's like, I'm no longer working at that shop. And I went, good. What happened? All of a sudden, 2 hours later, after I said this about Chris, she's done at the sex shop. So she goes, well, Chris has been concerned for a while about me working there. Bullshit! I call bullshit. I said, oh, yeah? And she goes, yeah, and he talked to his uncle, and his uncle said that some sleazy people do come in there. Hello? Oh, really? More bullshit. And he doesn't like the idea of me closing alone. And there. So, we decided it would be best for me not to work there. Really? So she thought that would make everything be okay. And I went, wait a minute, what? And so the story changes. And she's crying harder now. And she said, Chris and I have both had nightmares about me working at that place, and we decided that I shouldn't work there anymore. And he talked to his uncle, and his uncle said that some sleazebags do come in there. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking, and you're the only family I have. Everybody's got to get along. So basically, this is what happened. Okay, she told Chris what I said, and together they decided, oh shit, Mama's mad, and this is a dumb idea, and in order to keep things okay, so that Mom will be nice to Chris, is for you to quit that job. Come on. They're adults. He's like, let's see. She's 22, he's 24, I think. 24 or 25. Going on 2, maybe 3. And he's still on my shit list. I said to her, this doesn't make things any better. I said, he's still on my shit list. And Paul's. I said, Paul wants to pummel him. And he'll have to pummel him twice. Once for me, because I don't have the strength that I used to have. And she's like, man, what do you mean? I said, what do you think? It's just going to go away? I mean, he needs a talking to. His family is so stupid. They, I mean, I'm not holding against him how his family is, but he's not trying to make a difference by doing all this lame brain stuff, like suggesting her working in a sex shop. Selling stuff, okay? If you didn't watch that vlog, it's working behind the counter, selling stuff. And again, like I said in my other one, I don't have a problem with sex shops or buying sex toys and lingerie and all that stuff. I'm not a prude. But I don't want my 22-year-old daughter working there for a job. She's a college student. She's going to school for forensics, okay? I don't want that for her. And if you work in a sex shop, I'm not judging you, but it's not what I want for my young daughter. I don't want that on a resume. So, in the meantime, the other day she came over, and I hadn't seen her in quite a while, several weeks. And she came over and she's like, I've got good news. And I said, what? And to me, it's like, oh, you broke up with Chris. But that wouldn't be good news from her, so I know that that wasn't it. I go, what? And she goes, I got a job. Oh, she got a job. And it's funny because where she got the job, she'd gotten fired from before. It's at a collection agency, and she takes people's credit cards and stuff over the phone to pay off their debt. And I said, that's great. You know what she was going to do there? She was going to take the paid training and then quit just to make some money. And I said, that's despicable. I don't know where she gets her work ethic from, but it's not from us or her father, because her father is a workaholic. He's actually got really good, he's got a really good work ethic. Beyond good. It's just disgusting. So I said, they hired you back? And she goes, yeah. I said, well, what did they say about your record? And she goes, they must have thrown me away. Probably because you only worked there a couple of weeks. So she's still in that grace period time. She took the training, and she's only been there a week, maybe 2. She already left for a day, a half a day. I had a stomach ache, and I had to go home. Are you kidding me? Oh my Lord. I said, and then she goes, I'm gonna have to go down in hours. I can't handle 8-hour days. I said, what are you gonna do when you have a case that you have to get done for court, and you're working 16-hour, 20-hour days. And you have to get that case done, for, you got to work in the lab for 20 hours. I mm, I had her in 1996. Is she considered a millennial? I don't know where she gets this from. She acts like, and she's not a privileged child. She's had to work for everything. Like, she wasn't allowed to have these fancy cell phones. When she went to high school, we gave her one of those track phones just so she could call us, because she had to take the train, and then she had to take two different buses to get to school. So we had her have a track phone just to call every day to let us know that she got to school. Mickey, I hope you're not puking. It's called chewing your food. Don't look at me like that. He he gags a lot on his food because he doesn't know how to chew. He just engulfs it. And he's got these weird little teeth. Their teeth are very crooked because of the way their jaw is built. Oh, he's laying down in his bed now. Okay, so she had a little cheapy flip track phone. It had no fancy screens or anything on it. And her friends made fun of her, but we were paying for it. And she was only in ninth grade. And I said, when you get a job and you make money, then you can have one. So up until 11th grade, she had 9th, 10th, 11th. Yeah, she had a cheapy track flip phone. And then she got one of Paul's um, hand-me-down phones, but it had minimal, stuff on it, so she wasn't allowed to do um, pictures, surf the web on it, nothing. We had it locked down, and we monitored it and stuff like that. She couldn't check email on it, nothing. It was just to text us or call us. Kids today have everything. And then her first real phone, she had to buy with her own money. She had to pay for her plan. She was on our plan, but she had to pay her portion and make payments on her phone to us. She had to earn that. It's unreal. When she lived at home after high school, she paid rent. We put it in an envelope and put it away for her, but she didn't know that. And a small portion of it went towards toilet paper. She's a toilet paper queen. But anyway, I don't know where she gets this from. She's lazy. I've never seen anything like it. I said, you're lucky that you can work. I would love to be able to go out and work again. So I said, you can't be taking time off. You can't be going home. You've only been there a week after training. That looks bad. And mm, I've had it. So I've got Little Miss Whiny Pants and Mr. Grumpy Pants. I'm growing old before my time, folks. I may be 46, but I feel like I'm 64. Oh, and then on Friday, I have to go for trigger point injections in my neck and shoulders. It's supposed to help release some of the pain from my fibromyalgia. It'll be the first it'll be the first session I've ever had. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm nervous too. I'm not sure how big the needles are. I've had so many needles in my in the past 10 years that I get blood drawn so much, and I could have a lot worse diseases. So I try not to complain too much, but when you're in pain all the time, it frickin' sucks. It sucks. Useless sacks. So, I have that to do. And then I think next week we have to take Cameron to Rochester, New York, because that's where his developmental specialist is. And I think we're going to discuss him seeing a psychiatrist. But you have to take them to a psychiatrist that specializes in autism, because um, psychiatrists that don't specialize in that, they have a hard time with diagnosing, because so many things can overlap with autism. And I think that he has some ODD going on now. When ODD first started being diagnosed, I always just thought it was a kid being a brat. But there's a lot more. I've been doing some research on it. There's a lot more to it than being a brat. And he is just a brat sometimes. I'll admit that. I've said that right along. But there's other things going on too. And I want to be able to help him. And obviously, what we're doing, and all the behavioral specialists in the world we've had, and all the classes we've gone to, and in home stuff we've had, things aren't reaching him like they used to. And I got to find a way to have things easier in the home. That cat is scared of him. As soon as he gets home, she runs and hides. The dog somehow wants to be around him, but yeah, is still scared of him. I think it's because he can't hear him as much, so he doesn't hear him yell. But it's just, it ruins the whole aura of the house. It's like you're out there with the smudge after he leaves. Oh, everything evil in this house, go away. Ah. So that's what's coming up. Friday trigger points. And we've been wanting to do stuff on the weekends. Like there's this um, safari type thing that's about 60 miles from here that Paul's been wanting to go to, and this sunflower place that just opened. But we haven't been able to go because Cameron doesn't behave. So there goes some family activities that we've been wanting to do, some family time. And Cameron doesn't behave, so we haven't gone. Who wants to go on a tour of something and have Cameron blah, 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 while the tour guide's talking, trying to interview him? Hey, where do you live? Do you have any puppies? What's your mailing address? It's like, Cameron, maybe you should work for the FBI, the KGB. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I don't want to go somewhere with that. And the stress it causes. Oh, I'm drained by the end of the night. And Paul's just like, I'm going to go blow shit up on the computer. Pressing buttons. All right, guys, that's all I have to say. Thank you for listening to the vents. I appreciate it. And thanks for listening to me about my daughter who has no common sense. That's something you cannot teach people. You can't teach it. So, I don't know. Stick with trying to teach kids to ride bikes and catch balls. Useful balls. Get your mind out of the gutter. All right. Bye-bye from Buffalo.